Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? First off, and give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakodash. Double honors unto the apostles of Great Millstone that teach and rule well. As always, peace and salutations to the elect. This is the brother Benaiah from the Great Millstone Dallas branch. It's going to be a quick lesson. I have an article pulled up from naturalnews.com. All right, and as you can see from the title, it says San Francisco launches landmark lawsuit, accuses food giants of fueling health crisis with addictive processed food products. All right, and we are living in a society to where the things that we consume, the food, the water, all right, even the air, have been turned into a weapon, all right, to ultimately keep us in a sick state, keep us at a low vibration. And this was all systematically set up by the devil. All right. And this is exactly why I started with Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. All right. And we know that they're wicked to be, according to Malachi chapter 1 and verse 4, Esau, Edom. All right. Because these current systems, the healthcare system that we know of, all right, the music, all right, even the food industry during the early 1900s were changed, all right, by J.D. Rockefeller. All right, during the early 1900s, he turned the natural way of medicine, all right, into the pharmaceuticals that we know today. All right, he turned the music and the frequency of the music into the frequency as we know today. You see, and also the food. You see, so I'm gonna read a little bit of this, grab a couple of precepts, and Lord willing, this lesson's edifying. All right, and Yahweh Bashim Yahushua never intended, all right, for the earth, all right, to be ran like this, man. You see, he never intended, when he created, when you read in Genesis chapter 1, when Yahweh Shah and Elohim created they created the creation and everything in it, all right, they said it was good. So these particular things that the Lord created for man to eat and to consume, the water to drink, all these things were for to be for our benefit. But under this wicked rulership of the devil, he's changed it into a weapon. All right, he's changed it into something to keep us in a sick, all right, and low vibration, all right, in order to keep people passive and dumbed down, you know. Real quick, let me go to this, man. Let me see if I can find it, man. Created good. I know it's in second address, I think, man. Let me see. Abolish. They may continue to exist. Okay, this is a good one in Wisdom of Solomon. I think the one I'm looking for is in second Esdras, but I'll grab this in Wisdom of Solomon. All right, this is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1. All right, in verse. Let me see where I can start. Let me see. I'm gonna start. I'm gonna get straight to the point. Verse 14. It says, "He created everything so that it might continue to exist, meaning the earth. All right, and everything in it, and everything He created is wholesome and good. There is no deadly poison in them." Right. When Yahweh Shem Shai created food, when the and Yahweh Shai and Elohim created food and water and particular things for us to eat and consume, it wasn't no fucking GMO and poison in it, man. But now under this devil's rulership, that's all you have. All right, that's in the food. The food is not really food, man. It's really drugs, man. That's why they have this thing. That's why they have this institution called the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration. Food and Drug Administration, showing you that the food is drugs, man, and it's nothing but chemicals. That's why everything is all ultimately in a fucking box. You go to the grocery store, you man, and it's nothing but fucking boxes, aisles of boxes and cans, man. You see, and they have a way of naturally canning like pressure cooking. You know what I'm saying? How you can how you see it, and then people pressure cooking and and store stuff. But these particular canned goods, Esau aligns them with preservatives and all kind of bullshit. All right, so when you thinking, even in the lid, the lid that he seals it with has poison and all that in it, man. You see? And Yahweh Shem Shai, when he created the creation, when he created these foods and the water, all right, it was no deadly poison in them. All right. It says no. It says, I'm gonna read that again. Wisdom of Solomon 1 and 14. He created everything so that it might continue to exist, and everything he created is wholesome and good. All right, like Genesis 1. All right, they looked at the creation and said, "This is good." It says, Salaki, there is no deadly poison in them, no death does not rule this world, for God's justice does not die. It says, let me see if ungodly people have brought death to themselves, but the things they have said and done. All right, well that was the point. All right, in verse 14, that when Yahweh Shem was shy, all right, he created the earth, man. It said that it was good, man. Let me see, man. I know it's in second edges, man. This is gonna continue to bother me until I find this, man. Probably ain't gonna, man. For time's sake, I'm just gonna keep going. So let's go back to the article real quick. I'm gonna read a little bit. It says, San Francisco sues ten major food corporations for creating a public health crisis. Right. It says the lawsuit accuses them of engineering addictive, ultra processed foods. All right. It says it draws direct parallels to the tactics of the tobacco industry. It says the city is seeking financial restitution and court order changes to marketing. Um, this legal battle could set a major precedent of the corporate accountability. The city of San Francisco has declared war on some of the nation's most recognized household brands. City Authority David Chu, whatever you said, filed a groundbreaking lawsuit against 10 major food and beverage corporations, accusing them of knowingly engineering and marketing addictive, ultra processed foods that have fueled a devastating public health crisis of obesity, diabetes, and heart disease, right? Because all this sickness is coming from the food, man. You see, in Esau, all right, like I said, during the time of the early 1900s, you had J.D. Rockefeller who introduced this shit. You see, the 3 meals a day, the food pyramid, all this was introduced by J.D. Rockefeller, man. You see, so with that being introduced, you know what I'm saying? So he changed the food and now it's more drugs than it actually is, food. And people are eating this shit 3 times a day in the food and it's not fit for the body. You know what I'm saying? It's not meant, these chemicals that Esau uses is not meant to be inside the body, and that's why people are obese. That's why all these healthcare problems are happening. You see? And this is what you have when you have the devil ruling, man. Okay? But when we tell our people that this place has to go, all right, when we tell our people that there's gonna Yahweh Bashem Shai is gonna set up a new kingdom, all right, on a planet Earth where you're gonna have clean food and real food. We don't know what real food is, man. And that's a damn shame. We don't even know what real food tastes like because it's been so corrupted, all right, and poisoned by this way of this fucking devil that is we through, at the end of the day. We can only eat, we can only eat the best of the worst, man. And that's a damn shame that we got to say that. You see? But when we tell our people that Yahweh Shem Shai is going to establish the new heaven and new earth where dwelleth righteousness, and that these heathens who's doing this to the earth, these heathen that are in authority, all right, that's poisoning your food, poisoning your water, poisoning the minds of your children, poisoning your mind. You see, destroying the earth that's going to go into captivity is a fucking problem. Niggas have a problem with that, man. You see? And that's why you gotta go, because your whole head is sick, like it says in the book of Isaiah. All right, but I'm gonna continue going. It says, this unprecedented action directly targets the broad rooms of Kraft, Heinz, PepsiCo, General Mills, Coca-Cola, Nestle, and others, framing their practices as a deliberate assault on public well-being for profit, right? And that's exactly, all right, what it is and who it is. And you got to remember when we read up here, it said it draws direct parallels to the tactics of the tobacco industry. That's because the tobacco industry did buy out big food, man. All right, big tobacco brought out the food industry, man. All right, let's prove that real quick. All right, and I have this pulled up in AI, this AI overview. It says yes, major tobacco companies like Philip Morris and R.J. Reynolds heavily invested and acquired large food companies like Kraft, Nabisco, and General Foods. And then we just read, all right, some of those names. You see, you got to remember that there was other names named in the article, but ultimately they're going to always go back to a certain few. You see, they may have another brand on it, but also when you follow the tracks, it always go back to the same person, man. It says in the late 20th century, becoming giants in the snack and food industry using addiction science to create hyper uh damn, how do you say that? Let me pull this up, man. I'm just fucking tripping, bro. Platable, or however you say it. Let me see real quick. Slocky, bros. All right, let's go real quick.
Precedent. Palatable.
Palatable, yeah, that's right. I'm tripping, yeah. So it said palatable. All right, let me go back. All right. So what does that word mean anyway? Let's look it up real quick. To taste. All right, let me see. I think I had it pulled up, bro. So hyperpalatable is described as food engineering with scientific with science with specific combinations of fat, sugar, salt, and carbs that excessively trigger the brain's reward system, making them taste incredibly delicious, hard to stop eating even when full, and potentially addictive, unlike natural occurring food. You see? Artificial foods, man. You see? All this bullshit, man. And the scriptures talk about how Yahweh Shem and Shah created things real quick. All right, let's go to it. Let's go to the book of Sirach real quick. I'm gonna grab a couple of them and I'm gonna end it off because I gotta get ready to clock in. So let's go to Sirach chapter 29 and let's go to verse 11, man. I think this, let me see. Is it 29? Let me see. Real quick, Akim Salakia. What was it, 30 now? Let me see. Okay, this is a good one right here. I'm gonna grab this in Sirach chapter 39 and verse 25. I'm gonna start at verse 25. It says, for the good are good things created from the beginning, so evil things for sinners. The principal things for the whole use of man's life are water, fire, iron, salt, flour of wheat, honey, milk, and the blood of grapes, or the blood of the grape, and oil and clothing. All these things are for the good. It's like all these things are for good to the godly, so to the sinner they are turned into evil, right? You see, so all those things from, like it says, water, fire, fire, iron, salt. So water, salt, flour, honey, milk. You see, wine, blood of the grapes is wine, man. Oil and clothing. All these things, all right, have a benefit and a purpose for man. All right, to help man. These are things that Yahweh Shem Shah created. All right, these are the principal things for men. You see, but under the wicked, all right, they're turned into evil things, man. You see, because like I said, you got to remember J.D. Rockefeller in the early '90s, man. Hey, these niggas, that nigga was going in, bro. He was basically changing he changed everything, man. You see, changed the oil. At one point in time, people were using butter. Butter was the main thing. You know what I'm saying? Then he introduced vegetable oil. You see, that's when the health started to decline. People started getting fat. All these particular seed oils, you know, canola oil, all this bullshit, man. You see, what was another? The blood of the grapes, the wine, all these clothing, from the clothes that we wear, man. All right, it's killing us and got cancerous chemicals in them, man. So we just constantly pump from the food to what we put on our bodies, to what we put in our bodies, to the water that we bathe in, from the materials that our house are made of. All this shit is turned into wickedness, man. You see, let me see if I can, let me see if this is the same verse. I'm tripping, man. Let me go back to, let me get in the GNT real quick. See if this is it, man. Verse 25. Okay, and these, like I said, the basic needs of life are these: water, fire, iron, salt. All right, flour, honey, and milk, wine, clothing, and oil. All these things are good for those who are devout, but they turn into uh, evil for sinners. Right? You see? But no, this is not it. This is not the one I was talking about, man. Let me see, man. That's another one that talks about. Let me see. I know it's in Sirach, Salakia. Give me 1 second, Akim. I'm gonna get a couple of more. And I'm gonna end it off because I gotta go. Let's get this real quick. Wisdom. There we go. The necessities. This is verse 21. I'm tripping. All right. Sirach 29 and 21. It says the necessities of life. All right, are water, food, clothing, and a home where you can have privacy. You see, so these are the necessities, and all these necessities, all right, have been turned into a weapon. You see, why? Because Esau sees this as a way of so if you're sick, you buy the food, he got you addicted to it. So now you constantly buying it like that AI overview said. Even when you full, you still craving that shit and you eat, and that's why people overeat. You see, because they're doing the same thing that big tobacco companies did with tobacco to make these cigarettes addictive, man. They got everybody strung out. Everybody is strung. America is nothing but a fucking big ass, drug goddamn, the institution, man. You see, to where everybody is addicted to something, man. If you're not actually on this, you in some form you are addicted to its pharmaceuticals. If you're not actually taking the pills, from the pills to the food, man, because the food has these pharmaceuticals to the fucking water, bro. You see, and that's why we need Yahweh Shah to come back, bro. You know. But like I said, Esau has turned this shit into a game, man. Let me read a little bit more of this article. All right, and I'm gonna end it off, man. I'm gonna read this part one more time. It says, yeah, creating hyper palatable foods before spinning them off later, leaving a legacy of processed foods. All right, and as you can see, it says from the 1960s to the 1980s, big tobacco regulations grew. RJ Reynolds bought Hawaiian Punch. Yeah, you niggas drinking Hawaiian Punch, man. All that fucking shit. I don't want no juice. I want grape drink. Nigga want grape drink, man. That grape drink, them jugs. That shit poison, bro. Look at this shit, man. Rise of ultra processed food, tobacco giants, food high in fat, Oreos, Lunchables. So you think you doing something by getting your fucking kid a Lunchable? Hey, you fucking them up, man. This is the devil, bro. And you people mad at us, man. You got a problem with us, man. You want to come up against us because we taking a stand and saying no more of this bullshit, man. No more of this fucking wickedness, man. And you got a problem with us. We not the one poisoning your ass, man. You know. Let's go back to this article real quick, because like it said, man, it says, I'm gonna read this, and right here it says the unprecedented action directly targets the broad room of Kraft, Heinz, PepsiCo, General Mills, Coca-Cola, Nestle, and others, framing their practices as a deliberate assault on the public well-being for profit. Right? Why? Because Esau sees this as a way of making money. He sees life as a game. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 15. All right, in verse 12 in the GNT, it says he thinks of human life as just a game, a market where he can make a profit. He believes that he must make money however he can, even by evil ways. And this is this devil for you, man. You see? By evil ways, man. The scriptures talk about all bread, honey, water, all these things will for our benefit. When you read the scripture, man, I'm gonna get one more. All right, end it off. So like I know got to clock in, but it is what it is, man. You see? Where is it? I know it's in the book of Psalms. It says bread and heart. You see, and bread is a big part of, everybody died. Every restaurant you go through, they just serve you. You eat some. What would you like to place an order? Yeah, let me bring you some bread. Before you order your food, they bringing your ass bread. You see, and bread supposed to actually help you, man. It doesn't supposed to poison your ass. It don't supposed to keep you poisoned. You see, this is Psalms 104. All right, in verse what is this 15? All right. So you remember those things that it said was good, for the principle. It was the principles for man's life. You see, in wine that maketh the it's like it says in wine, Psalms 104:15, in wine that maketh glad the heart of men. It says in oil that make his face to shine, in bread which strengthens man's heart. You see? Bread supposed to strengthen your heart, man. It's supposed to be good for your heart, not bad. You eat bread now, that shit you through. And it's not, isn't it? And everywhere you fucking go, they feeding your Texas Roadhouse. You want some rolls? They bring your ass rolls and bread. You know what I'm saying? Before you actually get your meal, you see, which bread is supposed to be something good for you, but this this enriching process, you know what I'm saying, ultimately takes the life germ out of the bread, man. So I got this pulled up, and I'm gonna end it off. It says the process of refining grain to make white flour removes the brain in the germ, which contains the majority of the grain's natural nutrients and oils. It says uh the term you may be looking for is grim, because I said the life germ. It says which is the life or embryo of the wheat kernel, right? You see, but that enriching process ultimately, the refining process, when you go and get the flour, that enrichment is or enriched flour, it ultimately is put through a fucking process to where it takes the natural nutrients that Yahweh Shem Shah created to be in it. It takes it out, and what does Esau do? He puts synthetic shit in it. All right, and ultimately to preserve the life of the bread, and it's killing people, man. But it says during the milling process, the brain or fiber-rich outer layer in the germ, natural dense embryo rich in B vitamins and healthy fats are stripped away. What remains is primarily the starchy endosperm, which has a much longer shelf life because the oily germ, which would otherwise spoil quickly and make the flour go rancid, is no longer present. And he does that like just like we read in Wisdom of Solomon, bro. You see, he looks at it. He looks at life as a game and as a way to make money, even if it's an evil way. You see, the enrichment is the process of adding a few specific synthetic nutrients. All right, typically iron and B vitamin like thiamine, ro- uh, riboflavin, niacin, and folic acid back to the refined white flour, to restore some of what it was. Man, what kind of fucking shit is that, man? I'm gonna take man, bro. This is the devil, bro. This is who we talking about. People looking for somebody underground with demons and fire. No, this nigga is right on earth, handing your ass a fucking tray of poison, man. I'm gonna read that again, man. It says the enrichment is the process of adding a few specific synthetic nutrients, typically iron and B vitamin, like thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, and folic acid, back into the refined white flour to restore some of what it lost. However, it says fiber and many other vitamins, minerals, and beneficial plant compounds are not replaced. For maximum nutrients, look for the process labeled as 100% whole grain and 100% whole wheat, as these use the entire kernel and do not require the enrichment process to add back lost nutrients. You see what that shit does, bro? And that's crazy that that's crazy that we even have to, bring these lessons out, bro. You know, but this is life. This is what we get. All right, that Job 9:24, when the earth is given into the hands of the wicked, man. So I don't want to make this too long. I got to cut it short, but it is what it is. Lord, when this lesson was edifying. All right, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Chakodash. All right, double honors unto the apostles of Great Millstone that teach and rule well, and as always, peace and salutations to the elect. Watch what you eat, brothers and sisters, man. Shalom.